Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Vedic Living. I know I've taken a little bit of a break the past few transits, especially the Saturn-Neptune one and the eclipse, kind of affected me a little negatively. I had some health issues, I had some family issues going on, and I had to deal with a lot of things in the past few months. I really wanted to come back and make this video because I want to talk about the October transit of Jupiter. This is a very unusual kind of transit, and we need to talk about it in detail. So that's the reason why I thought I'll come back and make this video, and hopefully I get the energy to make more videos in future, but I'm thankful and grateful to all of you for hanging in there. I know I was seeing a lot of you in my personal readings, which I continue to do during this time because I cannot turn away somebody who needs help or needs an answer to something. I know there are people out there who suffered more than I have, so I really needed to be there for my clients, and I was continuing to do that. So I thank you all for waiting for me on YouTube so that I can come back and make some more videos. And going into 2026, we have so much going on. I mean, 2026 is going to be a very interesting year. So this is why I thought, this is a good time to start making these videos again, starting with the October transit of Jupiter, because as you know, that's going to be a major one this year, and it carries on into next year. So there's so much to talk about that. So before we go any further, I do want to remind you that my website is www.vedic-living.com. So make sure you go on there if you wanted to get any more information while I am taking time and making these videos, because I did continue to send out my newsletters every month. And they have a lot of predictions, day-by-day predictions, and tips and tricks how to get through these transits. And I also give like motivational quotes and everything, and it's free. It's a free newsletter, so sign up for that, so that while these things are going on and I'm not able to make YouTube videos, you still have advice, astrology advice coming from me to your inbox. So make sure you go on there and sign up for the free newsletter. Now, with that being said, let's go into this transit that I want to talk about. So Jupiter, transiting Jupiter, is right now at the last few degrees of Gemini. It is going to go into Cancer, and on October 18th of 2025. It is going to stay in Cancer till December 5th of 2025. And this 5 to 6 week period is going to be one to watch around the world. And that's the reason why I wanted to come back and make this video, because I was like, I need to talk to you guys about this transit. Because usually Jupiter stays in a sign for a year, then it goes to the next sign, stays there for about a year, and so on. This is kind of rare for Jupiter to go into a sign for 5 to 6 weeks, come back out, and then go back in again for the 1-year transit in 2026. So I tell my clients that this is kind of like a trailer to the movie that's getting released in summer of 2026, right? So whatever happens in this 6-week period is going to set the tone for how Jupiter's transit in Cancer is going to be for you in 2026. In June of 2026, Jupiter is going to go back into Cancer for a whole year. So that's the major one. That's the 1-year transit. But now, October 18th to December 5th, we have a small transit happening, about a 5 to 6 week period, right? So this tells us what is coming up in the next year. So in your personal lives, watch for opportunities, people knocking on your doors, figuratively speaking, any kind of, kind of beginnings of things that could start now, but actually come into fruition next year, things like that, because it will be a small glimpse, a window into what's happening next year. So it's actually a major occurrence. And around the world, I was looking at country charts. I saw a lot of things in the country charts too, which I'll be talking about today. So Jupiter, when it goes into Cancer, it is very slow, very, very slow moving. It stays in the 0 to 1 degree range of Cancer. That's it for 6 weeks. It just stays there. It's almost stationed. So if you have planets in the 0 to 1 degree range of Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, that's what you need to watch. because those are the points that Jupiter will be aspecting and transiting. So if you have any planets, and also Capricorn, I forgot Capricorn because right across from Cancer, you need to look at the opposition too. So 0 to 1 degree of Cancer, 0 to 1 degree of Scorpio, 0 to 1 degree of Capricorn, 0 to 1 degree of Pisces. If you have any planets in any of these 4 placements, then there are going to be some major changes in your life coming up in this period of October to December. And if you don't have planets there, just think about what the sign is, right? The sign Cancer, what house is it in your chart? And that's the area that's going to see the growth in the coming year, in the summer of 2026, because something is going to get set up here. Some kind of foundational element is going to get set up here, October to December. That will then become a tree, like a seed is being planted now. The tree will be growing in June of 2026 for a whole year. So something is happening here. It's a major time to watch. So I was looking at a lot of charts, a lot of country charts. I saw the 0 degree mark getting triggered. So we are going to be looking at that. But mainly think of it as expansion, as growth, as family. Jupiter in Cancer is all about family, coming together as a family, enjoying each other, being there for each other, being more concerned about your family, wanting to be there, with maternal elements, maternal people, because 4th house is mother. It's the mother figure in your family. So those kind of things. And another thing is real estate. You will see major changes happening in a good way in the real estate market. People will be able to afford more homes in this period because Cancer is the 4th house ruling home and real estate. In country charts, the 4th house is your homeland. So a lot of progress will happen in country charts in terms of homeland, especially between mid-October and early December. One of the country charts that I saw was Taiwan, 0 degrees. You have Mars, which means there is some major growth happening in Taiwan's chart at the 0 degree mark. It's right on the ascendant. That means Taiwan will have some major growth in what? That Mars rules their 5th house and 10th house. So in terms of their output, what their industries are giving out to the world, this could be electronics commitments or agreements, or there could be semiconductor agreements happening. Somehow Taiwan's economy is growing in this period and next year too, but this is the time when the seeds are being sown, right? Also remember, when Jupiter stations on Taiwan's Mars, that could be something with their leadership. Their leadership could be taking major strides in expanding the country, or there could be a change in their leadership. So those kind of things can happen. Why? Because Mars rules the 10th house, which in a country's chart, it is its leader. In Turkey's chart, Jupiter is at 1 degree of Scorpio, which means the trinal aspect of transiting Jupiter is going to hit it in the 6th house, which means that there are going to be some major changes in their health and healthcare system, or there's going to be something about healthcare that comes about in this period that could bring rise to some major changes next year. They need to be careful about their economy and their finances, because the 2nd house where Jupiter is stationed it rules a country's economy and their financial system. And another thing is that Jupiter rules their 10th house too. There is something major changing in terms of the leadership of Turkey as well, with the Jupiter aspect on the natal Jupiter, which is the ruler of the 10th house, which is the leader of the country. Afghanistan's chart is interesting. I noticed that stationing Jupiter is aspecting the moon in the 12th house, 1 degree moon in the 12th house in Pisces. There's something going on with moon, feminine, women in Afghanistan. There's some kind of change or some kind of upheaval happening in terms of that. 12th house can show endings and problems and difficulties. So even though it is transiting Jupiter, which is a positive planet, that Jupiter is stationed in their 4th house of homeland, aspecting the moon, the ruler of the 4th house, in the 12th house of difficulties and problems. So there could be some uprisings, some problems, some voices being raised by women, because moon is a feminine element. So watch for that in this period. France was interesting. France had a lot of different aspects going on with that October to December period, because look at their sun, which is the leader of the country, in the 10th house at 1 degree of Cancer. Look at the Mercury at 2 degrees of Cancer, right? That's also pretty close. And then look at the Saturn at 2 degrees of Pisces in their sixth house. That's a lot. That's a lot of transits happening in Fran's chart. So that means there's something happening with the 10th house, which is their leadership, the ruler. There could be things happening with communications because Mercury is being affected, healthcare because Saturn is in the sixth house of healthcare. But this could be some problems, though. I don't think these are positive transits, okay? France could be going through some changing times now, which could give rise to positive things in future, but right now it could be something that could bring up some questions and upheavals during this time. But whatever comes out of this period can cause positive transformation next year. But right now it does look like a little bit of a problematic time for them with the Sun, the Mercury, and the Saturn all being affected. Another thing to notice is that the last time Jupiter entered Cancer, what happened then? For example, 1931 was one of the times Jupiter entered Cancer. That was the Great Depression. It was an economy crisis going on. People were we were trying to come out of it. There was a lot of upheaval in domestic security. So think about that time. The next time it went into Cancer was 1967. That was a civil rights movement. A lot of emphasis on family values, society, social values, welfare. All of that happened in 1967. Then, when it went into Cancer in 1989 to 1990, that was the end of the Cold War. Remember, because what happened back then was that the Berlin Wall collapsed and the Cold War came to an end. So think of this. Every time I see these examples, I think of Jupiter's movement into Cancer as the beginning of a new era. And you can see it in past history as well in our historic examples. 2002, when Jupiter went into Cancer, that was a post 9/11 time frame. Healing was happening. People were coming out. They were waking up. They were seeing what is going on around them. They were rising up against it. So again, starting of a new era. But coming back to personal charts, of course, these are all the countries, and I'll continue to look at more countries when I do the remaining prediction videos. But coming to personal charts, if you have planets in any of these places that I mentioned, then that's a time for you to really focus in on that area and watch what kind of activity is happening there. If it's your 10th house, it could be in career or your leadership. It's in the 5th house, it could be something with children. There's got to be something there which is positive, of course, because it's Jupiter, but also life-changing, right? Because Jupiter is stationed at that point. It is usually when a planet is so slow on not moving or stationed, it's saying, look at me, pay attention to me, see what I have to say, right? So this is very important, this period that's coming up. So whichever house it's falling for you, look at that house and what planets are there and which houses those planets rule, because it'll tell you a lot about the coming time frame. But thank you so much. I'll see you next time, and I will be making the 2026 predictions video as well to give you an insight into what's going on, and the big video that you can purchase on my website, which will be 3 hours long. So you can see what's coming up in 2026. Thank you.